right, next we have Agu Garcia and Jade Yazzie. Agustin Garcia has been a cannabis advocate since 2006. He completed a senior project in Hempseed nutrition while completing his bachelor's in nutrition at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He plans on pursuing his interests in food systems and food law education and securing employment after completing the internship. Jade Yazzie has always been an advocate for herbal medicine practices with indigenous medicines and hopes to help raise awareness about cannabis in Western medicine. And Jade, or Agu's in person with me here, so we're going to work on pulling his slides up. Let me turn so you can use it quicker.
Yeah, but I can also take notes too.
Whatever.
I don't know where I'm.
We can't see ourselves.
Okay. Stop sharing.
We get double slide sharing view this way. Okay.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Anna, for that lovely introduction, and thank you, everybody, for attending. My name is Agu.
And my name is Jade Yazzie, and here we are going to talk about hempseed nutrition. So we are calling for a need for diversity dietary within the hempseed with production and consumption. So we would be just adding one more to the collection because there's already 17, but by increasing this, we can help with dietary diversity. And we just wanted to show you the agenda for our presentation. We're going to go into introduction, nutrition, health benefits, sustainability, safety, and call to action. And our objectives for this presentation is to promote health benefits, nutritional value, and to justify these reasonings. So everybody's probably asking why we chose hemp seeds. And the really big reason is because it's super important for dietetics, because we need to understand the differences between hemp and marijuana. And we want to increase intradiversity within the food products and interdiversity to start incorporating it into our regular diets. So we're going to talk about the endocannabinoid system, which is a widespread of the central nervous system. And pretty much with these two pieces here, the AEA and the AG, which is the adametamine and the 2-arginindole glycerol, which is 2-AG, these two receptors, CB1 and CB2, are really a big part of the cannabinoid system. And what these guys do is they give immediate feedback to our brains, depending on what activity we're doing: hunger, sleep, alertness, mood, appetite, and the list can go on. So what's the connection? Phytocannabinoids and endocannabinoids, while they may look molecularly different, phytocannabinoids are very similar to the endocannabinoid system. While there are 60 molecular systems within the cannabis that we know of, I really wanted to focus on the 2 phytocannabinoids, which are heavily researched, which is the tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the THC, and the cannabidiol, which is the CBD. And a lot of these, what they pretty much do in a sense is that they act as endocannabinoids. And they bind with the receptors in our endocannabinoid system, and they pretty much help control and like give off this signal that our brain is able to process.
Now to go into the cannabis sativa. That's the main species, which they are botanically from the same plant, But the difference between hemp and marijuana is they're genetically separate and distinct varieties of that same plant. So there's a lot of different controversy or lack of continuity of how to actually distinguish them. I'm going to go over four different types of how they actually do it. So we got the 6 major groups here. As you can see in this chart here, we have the non-psychoactive and psychoactive, so drug and non-drug. That's the most basic. And then depending on where it developed or across the world, you have different genetic differences amongst them. Then we also have the chemotypes here, which that looks at the CBD to the THC ratio. And so for instance, if you have a low ratio here, that means it's high in THC, so that's considered the drug plant. And then you have the intermediary with the 2, it's more balanced, that's considered the medicinal part of the plant or the subspecies. And then when you have the high CBD in 3, that's considered the hemp portion. And then you have different genetic expressions of different alleles between hemp and marijuana respectively. And then the main key differences here are statutory. So it's 0.3% THC is allowed in the dry portion of the most potent part of the plant. So that's part of the bud. So 0.3% is very minimal. And that's the legal definition of hemp. So if you're at 0.4, it's no longer hemp. So you have the chemical and genetic different composition, and then the production practice and what you're using it for is the another differentiating way between hemp and marijuana. As Jade had mentioned, there's hundreds of different bioactive phytochemicals and non-psychoactive cannabinoids. And again, the main component that we're focusing on here is THC. So it's still up to debate how to categorize them, but they're genetically different genotypes, produced and used differently, and the THC is the main content. So there's a lot of different uses here in this chart here. We're only focusing on food with the seeds of hemp oil, and then we're also going to highlight a little bit on the sustainability. We have this chart here. Seeds come from the bud, so it's part of the plant. You need a male and a female, so that's the dioecious, so it makes it a more advanced plant, in my opinion. And you have the hemp seeds, which you can have the dehulled hemp hearts, which is a common form that you see it in the U.S. market. Then different processes to get different nutritional components a part of it, and then you also have different ending points that we're focusing on is the protein and the hemp seed oil as well. So going into the nutrition of it with protein, 20 to 25% of the whole seed is digestible protein, and there's 181 different total proteins that are found within the seed. The 2 main are edestine and albumin, and both of those are internally complementary. So they complement each other with lacking amino acids. However, the main amino acid that's lacking is the lysine. And then it's been found that hemp seed is more digestible than soy because soy has a trypsin inhibitor, which inhibits the enzyme, whereas hemp is higher in phytic acid, which just chelates and stops protein and mineral absorption. And they have similar essential, hemp has higher or similar essential fatty acids or essential amino acids, as soy. And then per this table here, you can see that hemp seed is almost 3 times as much as soy in protein. That's a common thing that people think of as soy as a high protein. But as you can see, hemp seed is a very nutritious, it's high in protein. We'll go on into the other nutritional aspects. But first with the amino acids, it's been found that all the essential amino acids are essential or nutritionally sufficient to meet the FAO and WHO recommendations. And it's highest in arginine and glutamic acid. It's moderate in the sulfur containing components, which sulfur is the 3rd most prevalent mineral in the body after phosphorus and calcium. And then again, lysine is limiting with leucine and tryptophan. And those 3 do not meet the FAO standards. But again, we're promoting diversity of the diet. And this is not the only part of the diet, but this can definitely help within the diet. And again, so the protein digestibility corrected amino acid score of whole seed of the hemp seed is 0.5 to 0.6, which is considered less than what's considered a high quality protein. However, that's of the whole hemp seed, as we'll discuss more later. when you remove the hull, you remove the carbohydrates, you have a higher concentration of hemp seed protein. I wasn't able to find any data that found the PCAS score of whole hemp seeds. So it'll be interesting to see what that is. So going into the lipids, hemp seeds is most commonly known for lipids, and it's what it's been studied a lot on. It's mostly polyunsaturated acids with linoleic is the omega-6, which is technically a pro-inflammatory that leads to arachidonic acid in the elongation process, and then the alpha-linolenic fatty acid here is the omega-3 fatty acid, which is anti-inflammatory, which leads to the EPA and DHA. Yeah, so on top of having, so it's primarily of polyunsaturated fatty acids, and it's rich in essential fatty acids. So most of difference with this, with a lot of other plant and animal-based proteins, is that it has an ideal omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio. It's a 2 to 3 is considered to be ideal. The highest of the hemp cultivar is 3.8. The lowest is, I think, 2.4 or something like that. But I just wanted to note that it is within and near that ideal combination. And the reason why you want to have the ratio to be similar is because both the omega-6s and omega-3s compete with the 5 and 6 desaturases, as well as the elongase, when you get the elongation process of your fatty acids within our body. And the 6 desaturase is the main limiting rate limiting enzyme. And yeah, so that's why the proportion is essential, because omega-3s have a higher affinity towards these enzymes. So you need a little bit more 6s, but you don't want too much more 6s. As you can see in the Western diet, it goes between 15 to 30 to 1 of this omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, which that's a pro-inflammatory diet. And Mediterranean and Japanese diets are considered healthy, and they're about 2.5 to 1 in this ratio. And then on top of it, the ideal ratio, cannabis, or excuse me, hemp, has gamma-linolenic, GLA, and also stearidonic acid. Those are two natural metabolites that bypass this first area here. So you're bypassing some of the rate-limiting effects. That's kind of going into the carbohydrates here. It's mostly in the hull, as I mentioned earlier, and it's mostly fiber and insoluble fiber. As you can see from this chart here, I feel it's a good picture of kind of describing what we're talking about. We have the hemp seed in here. You can either get from the oil here and have the hemp meal cake, or the dehulling process that I'm mentioning. You have the hemp hulls and the hemp hearts. So this is kind of the intra-diversity that I'm discussing, or that Jade and I were discussing, is that you want to be eating from different parts of this, because all the fiber is in the hulls. So if you're just eating hemp hearts, you're lacking on the fiber. You're actually lacking on a lot of the micronutrients that's in the hull as well. So going into the micronutrients, brief overview. It's got a lot of minerals in it. There's a lot of bioactive components as well that are found to be beneficial to your health. And the anti-nutrients, again, as I mentioned, phytic acid is the most prevalent in hemp seeds. However, they are finding that anti-nutrients, even though it chelates minerals and inhibits some protein absorption, they're finding a lot of health benefits that are associated with these anti-nutrients. So a little fact that I thought was very, very helpful. This is from Serino et al. With just 50 milligrams of hemp seeds, we can receive 50 to 100% of our recommended daily intake with magnesium, zinc, and copper, and then over 100% with vitamins A, D, and E. I was trying to find about toxicity, because these can be concerns of having too much. I wasn't able to find anything on that. The research is still lacking. This is a promotion to try and get more research into this plant, because there's a lot of potential with this. And transitioning into health benefits, we have two different patents here. One's from the United States Department of Health and Human Services. They had a patent started in '99, and they got it and published in 2003. The cannabinoids are an antioxidant and a neuroprotectant. And then a pharmaceutical company used the phytocannabinoids as treatment for cancer. So there is already proven health benefits to this.
And we also wanted to list the health benefits of the plants. And we left the asterisks on the certain ones of the health benefits that actually derive from the seed in various forms, such as what Agu had talked about during the different processes of using the hemp seed. And yeah, here's the big picture. And also Agu just wanted me to include this, such as the health benefits offer really rich omega-3 fatty acids, which are essentially what we get from fish oil, but this could be another alternative route for that.